Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Verenia, and in today's video we are going to be setting our budget for the month of April. So if you're new to my channel and you didn't know, this is basically something we do every single month. So whenever we get paid, we will plan out the month in advance and we will literally do it through our budget. So this is the template that we use, and of course if you would like to access the same template, you can do that. So it includes a net worth statement, a sinking funds calculator, and then you have the choice between a monthly budget template or a weekly budget template depending on when you get paid. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. I will leave a link in the description below for you if you do want to purchase it. But without further ado, let's just get to it and see how we have budgeted for the month of April. So first of all, when it comes to our income, not really much has changed, especially if you are subscribed to my channel or if you see my other budget videos. So the main source of income we get is currently my husband's 9-to-5 job. So he has a monthly salary that we get, and then also I pull in a couple of hundred from my business. The rest of the money I make is currently reinvested, and then we also have some money that we have taken from our sinking funds pot so that we can allocate that towards our relevant sinking funds for the month. And if you are completely new to my channel, then you might not know that I'm currently on a career break. That's why I do not have a 9-to-5 salary as part of our total income. So because I'm currently taking a career break, that is now reflected in our savings and investments. And so if we move into this category, currently at the moment what we have is £75 that's actually allocated towards my husband's investments. In terms of my investments, I actually do still invest. I do invest in other coaching programs, but I do pay that separately from my business, so it's not included in our personal budget. But if you are interested to know, this month I currently am paying out £1,018 towards my investment. So again, that's all separate, but if you add it to also Yinka's investments, we're looking at about £1,093 in total. So let's move over to our essential bills. Now in terms of our essential bills, they haven't necessarily changed yet. So you can see that we're still paying £1,050 towards rent, £50 towards water, although I think that's going to be changing. We did get a letter through. I just need to double check how much exactly we're going to be paying towards that, but I think it's actually going to be slightly less than what we're paying now, which is obviously a plus. Then we're also paying £62.86 for electricity and gas. Again, that is definitely going to change, but we haven't been told how much we're actually going to be paying towards electricity and gas. So at the moment, £62.86 is what we've got until they tell us otherwise. And then £145 for council tax. And this is another thing that I think will be changing, especially because of what the government's been doing. So I'm not really sure how much we're going to be paying towards council tax yet. I think we're just going to wait until our direct debit changes, but currently £145 is what we've recorded in the budget. And then another £29.60 towards broadband, £158 towards our iCloud, and then another £12 and £10 going towards our SIM contracts. And again, if you're interested to know what SIM contracts we use, we currently use Voxy. So if you are based in the UK and you're looking for a SIM contract, we've really enjoyed using Voxy just because it also includes endless social media data. So definitely check my links in the description below if you are interested in looking at Voxy. And then when it comes to tithes, charity and giving, that's something that we tend to do all the time as well. So we will give a certain percentage towards our tithes, and then we also have money set aside for general giving. And if you're liking this video so far, then feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it really does help to support the channel. Plus I'm sure you know it's free. So next up, when it comes to sinking funds, at the moment we have quite a few sinking funds that we're now starting to build up again, which I'm very excited about. So the first one is car maintenance. So we've allocated 100 towards car maintenance, and that's mainly because over the next few months we'll be thinking about paying our car insurance, and then after that it will be like road coverage or anything else that we need to do to maintain the car. So we've set aside 100 for that. Another 10 is going towards presents. So if we have any family members that are having birthdays, we're starting to build up another sinking fund for that. Then we've also got another 10 set aside for rugby, and so my husband plays rugby, so we also set money aside for that. And then we also have a sinking fund for skincare. So we didn't necessarily used to have a sinking fund for this, mainly because when it came to skincare, we already had things that we were using once we got married, but now that's starting to finish, we need to start, you know, building that back up again. And so we've decided to allocate 20 towards skincare. And then also my husband's DBS, that's something that he's also going to need to do, so we have allocated 50 towards that. And then with clothes, we've also allocated another 10. So we like to just allocate between 10 and 20 sometimes just for clothes, just in case, you know, one of us wants to buy something, or if we need like a new jacket or new pair of shoes, we at least have money set aside for that. So yeah, in terms of our sinking funds, it comes to £200. And so now let's let's talk about our spending, because our spending is slightly more than usual, especially because prices have been going up and also because of my husband's paycheck. So sometimes we have to budget for 4 weeks and sometimes we'll have to budget for 5 weeks. This time we're actually budgeting for 5 weeks, and so that means that we're going to be spending a bit more than usual because obviously things like groceries are going to have an impact. So in terms of our petrol, we have allocated 120 for petrol. I think we should be able to stick to that based on previous months, because last month we didn't necessarily spend very much. I think we only spent like 59 on petrol last month, so 120 seems to be quite a good thing, and we will see whether we go under or over with that. Next up, we have groceries. So in terms of groceries, we have allocated £190 for groceries. So there are 2 reasons for that. The first reason is obviously, as I mentioned, instead of budgeting for 4 weeks, which is what we usually do, this time we're budgeting for 5 weeks based on when Yinka is going to get paid next. So we obviously need to make sure that we allocate enough money for groceries for that 5th week, because otherwise we're just not going to have any money for groceries if we only budget for 4 weeks. And so that's one of the reasons. But the second reason is obviously because now food prices have gone up, and we definitely saw that last month when we actually went over on our food budget. So we've decided that we want to be a bit more realistic. So rather than budgeting 34 a week, which is what we used to spend, we've actually budgeted 38 a week. And that's because typically what I saw is that's how much roughly we were spending. If food prices do increase again, then we probably will have to change our budget. But at the moment, we've set it for 190 for the month. Then next up, we have toiletries. So currently we have allocated about 35 towards our toiletries budget. Now we will usually budget around 30 for toiletries, and we tend to stick to that quite often. I mean, sometimes there are times where we will go over, but we've decided to do 35 just because obviously prices have been increasing. We're not sure if prices around toiletries have increased, so we want to be a bit more realistic with that. So I think 35 is a decent budget. Who knows if we'll go over or not? I am not sure, but we will see at the end of the month. And then of course we have our spending. So we have allocated 100 each towards our spending, and that still seems to be okay for us. I mean, I'm planning on going to a brunch this month, so I'm very excited. So that's already planned in my budget, but I think 100 is still quite decent for us because that doesn't include things like our own date night as well. So this is more so, you know, our own spending if we're going out with our own friends or if we're doing something separate. That's what this 100 is for. And then next up, we have date night. So we have brought this back down to £60. I think last month we budgeted about £80, and that was because there was a certain restaurant that I really wanted to go to. This month, I'm not really sure what we're going to be doing. So for us, I think £60 is probably going to be enough. After that, we have got personal care. So in terms of personal care, we've got another 44 being allocated towards that area, which is all good. And then when it comes to miscellaneous, we have about £10 that's going to be allocated towards that. And so that's just if anything else comes up that we haven't necessarily planned for, we've got some money left over there. After that, we've also got my gym membership. So as many of you will know that I now pay gym monthly. So currently I pay £21.99. When it comes to my husband's membership, he has an annual membership at the moment, but that is going to be ending, I think, in June. So after June, I think we'll probably be moving him to a monthly membership because unfortunately they no longer do annual memberships anymore. So at the moment, it's just £21.99 when it comes to my gym membership. And then since we use the zero-based budget method, which just basically means you give every penny or cent a name, essentially we had about £4.48 left, and so we decided to allocate that towards our pennies jar. And what our pennies jar is just used for is every time we spend money on our account, it will round it up to the nearest pound, and then it will put that into our pennies jar, and so you'll just start to see it growing slowly over time. So that's what we've used our pennies jar for. In case you're interested how it like rounds it up, we use a bank called MONZO. So if you are in the UK, that is definitely something you can have a look at. I will leave a link in the description below for you if you do want to check it out. So at the moment, in terms of our spending, the total comes to about £685.47. And actually, if I compare it to March, I think March we had spent around £641. So just over a £40 difference this month, but obviously most of that is because of our groceries budget. So not too much of a difference, I don't think. So if we can stick to this, then that would be great. And if you do think you may need further support when it comes to actually creating your budget, or even just sticking to your budget so that you can reach some of your financial goals, especially if you're trying to save your money or invest your money, then definitely check out my one-to-one coaching program because I can help with all of that. So if you are interested, all you need to do is book a free interest call with me. So I'll link more information up here for you and in the description below. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. already, and let me know in the comments, have you set your budget for the month of April yet? I do post every Tuesday, so if you would like to learn more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.